Day 12 of our poetry round. We're going to start with the one I started last week and yesterday and didn't quite get done correctly. A Visit from St. Nicholas by Clement Eldmore. 'Twas the night before Christmas when all through the house not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse. The stockings were hung by the chimney with care, in hopes that St. Nicholas would soon be there. The children are nestled all snug in their beds, while visions of sugar plums danced in their head. And Mamma in her kerchief and I in my cap had just settled our brains for a long winter's nap. When out on the lawn there rose such a clatter, I sprang from my bed to see what was the matter. Away to the window I flew like a flash, and I tore open the shutters and threw up the sash. The moon on the breast of the new fallen snow gave the luster of midday to objects below, when what to my wondering eyes should appear but a miniature sleigh and 8 tiny reindeer. With a little old driver so lively and quick, I knew in a moment it must be St. Nick. More rapid than eagles his coursers they came, and he whistled and he shouted and called them by name. Now Dasher, now Dancer, now Prancer and Vixen, on Comet, on Cupid, on Donder and Blitzen, to the top of the porch, to the top of the way all. Now dash away, dash away, dash away all. As dry leaves that before them the wild hurricane flew, when they met with an obstacle mount to the sky, so up to the housetop the coursers they flew, with the sleigh full of toys, and St. Nicholas too. And then in a twinkling I heard on the roof the prancing and pawing of each little hoof. As I drew in my head and was turning around, down the chimney St. Nicholas came with a bound. He was dressed all in fur from his head to his foot, and his clothes were all tarnished with ashes and soot. A bundle of toys he had flung on his back. He looked like a peddler just opening his pack. His eyes, how they twinkled, his dimples, how merry. His cheeks were like roses, his nose like a cherry. His droll little mouth was drawn up like a bow, and the beard of his chin was as white as the snow. The stump of his pipe he held tight in his teeth, and the smoke, it encircled his head like a wreath. He had a broad face and a round little belly that shook when he laughed like a bowl full of jelly. He was chubby and plump, a right jolly old elf, and I laughed when I saw him in spite of myself. A wink of his eye and a twist of his head soon gave me to know I had nothing to dread. He spoke not a word, but went straight to his work, and filled all the stockings, then turned with a jerk, and laying a finger on the side of his nose, and giving a nod up the chimney he rose. He sprung to his sleigh, to the team gave a whistle, and away they all flew like the down of a thistle, and I heard him exclaim ere he drove out of sight, "Merry Christmas to all!" and to all a good night. The Hippopotamus by Jack Prelutsky. The hippopotamus. The huge hippopotamus hasn't a hair on the back of his wrinkly hide. He carries the bulk of his prominent hulk rather loosely assembled inside. The huge hippopotamus lives without care at a slow philosophical pace. He wades in the mud with a thump and a thud and a permanent grin on his face. There's Arnold Lobel's picture of the hippo. Oliphant by J.R.R. Tolkien. This is a poem that you find in the book of one of the Lord of the Rings, where Sam is seeing an elephant, though they called it an oliphant. Oliphant, gray as a mouse, big as a house, nose like a snake, it makes the earth shake. As I tramp through the grass, trees crack as I pass. With horns in my mouth, I walk in the south. Flapping big ears beyond count of years, I stump round and round, never lie on the ground. Not even to die, elephant am I, biggest of all, huge, old, and tall. If ever you'd meet me, you won't forget me. If you never do, you won't think I'm true. But old Oliphant am I, and I never lie. I Love You by Anonymous. I love you, I love you, I love you divine. Please give me your bubble gum. You sat on mine. Question. Do you love me or do you not? You told me once, but I forgot. Huckleberry, gooseberry, raspberry pie. Huckleberry, gooseberry, raspberry pie, all sweet things one cannot buy. Peppermint candies are 6 for a penny, but true love and kisses one can't buy any. April Rain Song. Let the rain kiss you, let the rain beat upon your head with silver liquid drops, let the rain sing you a lullaby. The rain makes still pools on the sidewalks, the rain makes running pools in the gutter. The rain plays a little song on our roof at night, and I love the rain. By Langston Hughes. We read some of his poems earlier. Every Time I Climb a Tree by David McCord. There's Mr. Lobel's picture of the tree. Every time I climb a 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 tree, I scrape a leg or skin a knee. And every time I climb a tree, I find some ants or dodge a bee and get the ants all over me. And every time I climb a tree, where have you been? They say to me. But don't they know that I am free every time I climb a tree? I like it best to spot a nest that has an egg, maybe 3. And then I skin the other leg. But every time I climb a tree, I see a lot of things to see. Swallows, rooftops, and TV, and all the fields and farms there be. Every time I climb a tree, though climbing may be good for ants, it isn't awfully good for pants, but still it's pretty good for me every time I climb a tree. The reason I like chocolate. The reason I like chocolate is I can lick my fingers and nobody tells me I'm not polite. I especially like scary movies because I snuggle with mommy or my big sister and they don't laugh. I like to cry sometimes because everybody says, "What's the matter? Don't cry." And I like books for all those reasons, but mostly because they just make me happy, and I really like to be happy. By Nikki Giovanni. Rhinos Purple, Hippos Green. By Michael Patrick Hearn. My sister says I shouldn't color rhinos purple, hippos green. She says I shouldn't be so stupid. There are things she's never seen. But I don't care what my sister says. I don't care what my sister's seen. I will color what I want to. Rhinos purple, hippos green. Little Brother by Karma Fufuka. I have to take my little brother everywhere I go, 'cause I'm the big sister and Mama told me so. His nose is always snotty and his shoes comes all untied. His diapers get wet and dirty and he sure does like to cry. He gets in the dirt and runs in the street and doesn't like to mind, but he's my little brother and I keep him all the time. Rules by Carla Kuskin. Rules. Do not jump on ancient uncles. Do not yell at average mice. Do not wear a broom to breakfast. Do not ask a snake's advice. Do not bathe in chocolate pudding. Do not talk to bearded bears. Do not smoke cigars on sofa. Do not dance on velvet chairs. Do not take a whale to visit Russell's mother's cousin's yacht. And whatever else you do, it's better you do not. Our House by Dorothy Brown Thompson. Our house is small, the lawn and all, can scarcely hold the flowers, yet every bit, the whole of it, is precious for its hours. From door to door, from roof to floor, from wall to wall, we love it. We wouldn't change for something strange, one shabby corner of it. The space complete in cubic feet, from cellar floor to rafter, just measures right and not too tight for us and friends and laughter. I'm hungry. It doesn't tell me who it's by. It may be Jack Perlutsky. I'm hungry. I'm hungry, so I think I'll take a bite or two of lunch, pizza and a chocolate cake, and some peanut butter crunch, a healthy slice of apple pie, a pound or so of ham, a stack of waffles 2 feet high with boysenberry jam. I'll follow with a dozen eggs. I'll scramble them, I guess, and 6 or 7 turkey legs. I could not do with less. Some rhino roast and hippo stew and fresh fillet of horse. Then rest a minute, maybe 2, and start the second course. More poems